works. Actually, before I start, I would like to ask you, how many of you are actually designers? Sorry, sir. How long are you in business? For how long are you designing? A couple months. Great. I'm going to talk about Fuckup that actually happened to me recently when I moved from school to being a pro designer on a full-time basis. And my Fuckup is called "There is nothing to analyze, it is just few pages." As I said, I joined Too Fresh at the beginning of this year, straight ahead after my interaction design studies. And I was that kind of a guy that read all those different articles, books, watched all those different videos. And I was a more thinker than doer. So I was looking so much forward that this is going to be finally a chance for me to see how all the theory can be applied into the practice. We as a Too Fresh are not just an agency. We have a venture part as well, and we create and invest into the startups. One of the startup is called Atato, and it's a grocery delivery platform, something similar to Instacart that you probably know from the US market, but this is for the Czech market. And I joined this startup at the very beginning when I became a part of Too Fresh. After school, I saw these guys as my heroes, like someone that are in the business for much longer than me, and actually as someone that I can really learn from them. So I came with this kind of stereotype that I had a huge respect that they must be right, and I should probably follow them. So before I even start working on something, I try to look for all these conceptual materials that should help me to understand how the product was developed, how all the decisions were made, but I didn't find the UI flows, outcome of research, and prototypes. This is actually something that can happen to every startup before the first seed investment, that you are running as fast as you can to make your things done, to actually show it to investors, to get investment in order to succeed. And there was a question in front of me. Do you want to become the pain in the ass from the very beginning, that you are pushing onto others to get your materials that you need in order to start? Or do you want to get not fired because I had been in the trial months from the beginning? So I had this discussion with my CEO that we are probably not approaching the work properly, and we should do it more conceptual work before we actually start working. And then the reply to me, it is just few pages. We are going to be done in 4 weeks. And I failed because I accepted. So what happened to me is that I throw all my design knowledge or my design values into the garbage, and everything what is built about human-centered design was just broken. So we start redesigning the product just to make it nicer as soon as possible to generate some numbers, but actually these 6 pages were growing every day because we were finding all the technical issues that we had on the way were expanding pages every day. And as you know, each page has several different stages, so even if you have one page, you have at least 4 different stages for the page. So if you want to really fuck up as a designer, your team and yourself, skip research, skip analysis before you even start to work. What happened to us actually is that we missed several deadlines. We didn't really know how big amount of work or how complicated the case we are trying to solve is. So we try to plan to say to investors that we are going to be done in month, 2, or maybe 3, but we didn't know how big amount of work is in front of us. So we were getting these fake deadlines that we are not able to accomplish. As a consequence of that, we lost our credibility, so nobody really trusts us that we are able to actually deliver the work. And the another consequence, we became completely frustrated in the team because we felt like, well, we are not able to do our job, we are zero. What is going on? So from that time, I remember one very important thing, and it is that I'm trying to stay really strong on every step of a design process because it is my responsibility at the end of the day if I make a decision that can influence a product or a team. So right now, even if I should fail with or cheat on the design process that I believe in, I would get rather fired than to make this cheating and actually deliver something bad at the end. So right now, my process tries to consist at least some research on the beginning, some prototyping, and some validation before I make any design decisions.
Petr, with how many pages did you end up?
Over, I would say, 150, and it was still growing. And you know, this is something when you are trying to build like a e-shop platform or internet selling platform. You just feel that you need some catalog where you can list your products, then you need a card where you can actually add products, then you need a checkout and maybe profile, and that's everything. But soon you recognize how the things are growing and growing and growing, that you are solving cases that you are just not able to explore it with this children mind from the beginning if you don't know the field that you are entering into. But the good thing about the story is that we learn enough from this experience. We pivot our concept and now we are on the way to actually achieve something.